The gray walls of the prison seemed colder than ever, pressing in on every side. Time moved differently inside, slow, heavy, and unforgiving. For one man, though, the clock was ticking faster than anyone else's. His execution date was set, and the world outside had already forgotten him. Some called him a criminal, others whispered that he had been framed. No one knew the full truth, but his name carried weight within those prison bars. The guards spoke little around him, as though his fate was too heavy to mention aloud. The other inmates watched with quiet curiosity, wondering how a man behaves when the end is so near. Yet in the midst of this silence, the prisoner himself seemed strangely calm. He rarely spoke, he never complained. It was as if he was carrying a secret that would only be revealed in his final moments. When the warden finally approached him, the question was simple, almost routine. "What is your final request?" he asked, expecting the usual. Answers: steak dinner, a special dessert, maybe even a final call with family. But the man lifted his head, his voice steady yet soft. "I just want to see my dog." The room fell silent. The guards exchanged uneasy glances, unsure if they had heard correctly. A dog? Of all things, why a dog? The warden frowned, jotting it down, but even he looked unsettled. Word spread quickly through the prison. Some mocked him, saying it was a pointless wish. Others shook their heads, muttering that a man chooses his truest love in the face of death. But deep down, curiosity burned in everyone. What kind of bond could make a condemned man choose his dog over everything else in the world? Long before prison walls closed around him, his life had been different. Hard, yes, but filled with one constant: his dog. He had found the animal as a trembling puppy, abandoned in the rain near an old gas station. With ribs showing and eyes wide with fear, the pup looked hopeless. Yet the man knelt down, offered a scrap of food, and from that moment, they were inseparable. Years passed, and the dog grew into a powerful, loyal companion. Through the darkest nights, when the man felt the world collapsing, the dog would curl at his feet, offering warmth no words could match. When times got tough, the dog was there, waiting by the door each day, tail wagging as though nothing else in the world mattered. Neighbors often said the animal wasn't just a pet. It was his shadow, his protector, his only family. They shared everything: long walks at dawn, meals split in half, quiet moments no one else could understand. So when the prisoner's final wish was spoken, it wasn't strange to him. It wasn't strange at all. In his heart, there had only ever been one request worth making. One last look at the creature who had never betrayed him. The request unsettled the prison staff. Some shook their heads, insisting it was out of line. "This is a maximum security facility, not a petting zoo," one officer muttered. Another warned it could be dangerous, unpredictable. But others argued differently. What harm could it do? The man has hours left. Let him have this moment. The debate stretched late into the night, weighing rules against compassion. Finally, the warden, after a long silence, gave a reluctant nod. "Bring the dog," he ordered. And just like that, the course of the prisoner's final hours shifted. In a way no one expected. The prison yard was unusually quiet that morning. Guards lined the perimeter, their expressions stiff, as though bracing for something none of them had ever seen before. In the center, the condemned man waited, his hands clasped, his eyes fixed on the gate. For once, the weight of chains seemed lighter. Then it happened. The gate creaked open. A brown and white dog, older now but still strong, bounded forward. The moment its eyes found him, the animal bolted with such force that even the guards stepped back. The dog leapt into his arms, whining, tail thrashing wildly. Years of separation vanished in an instant. The man buried his face in the animal's fur, tears streaking his cheeks, while the dog licked them away as if to erase every sorrow. Around them, silence broke. Some guards looked away, their eyes glassy. Even hardened inmates, watching from barred windows, pressed their hands to the glass. No one spoke, but everyone felt it. The raw, undeniable power of loyalty. For the first time in years, the man smiled. In that moment, he wasn't a prisoner, or a number, or a man waiting to die. He was simply a friend reunited with his truest companion. At first, the reunion was pure joy, but then something changed. The dog stopped wagging its tail. Its ears pressed flat, and a low growl rumbled from its chest. The animal circled him, sniffing frantically, pawing at his side as if desperate to uncover something hidden. The man froze, confused. "What is it, boy?" he whispered, stroking the fur. But the dog wouldn't calm. Instead, it barked sharply, lunged closer, and pressed its nose against the man's chest, whining with a sound so raw it silenced the yard. The guard stiffened. Whispers broke out. "What's wrong with the dog?" one muttered. Another gripped his weapon, uncertain. Prisoners watching from the windows leaned closer, unsettled by the animal's sudden urgency. The dog clawed at the ground, then pressed against the man again, as though trying to shield him from something unseen. The prisoner's calm mask began to crack. His eyes darted nervously. It wasn't just a reunion anymore. It felt like a warning. The dog wasn't simply saying goodbye. No, its frantic behavior carried a message, one no human could ignore. Something was wrong, terribly wrong. And for the first time, doubt flickered in the hearts of even the strictest guards. The dog's relentless cries drew the attention of the prison medic, who stepped forward uneasily. "Let me check him," she murmured, kneeling beside the man. At first, he resisted, but the dog barked so furiously that the guards forced him still. Moments later, the medic's face drained of color. "This man, he's not healthy. His chest, his heart is failing." The words cut through the silence. Like a blade. The dog hadn't been warning of danger. It had been begging for someone to notice. Suddenly, the condemned man's final request no longer seemed strange. It seemed prophetic. Chaos erupted. The medic shouted for equipment. Guards called for the prison doctor, and the warden froze, torn between protocol and humanity. Execution was scheduled within hours, yet now the man's life dangled by a different thread, not the noose, but his own failing heart. "Stop everything," the warden ordered, his voice shaking. "No one touches him until we know more." The dog whimpered, pressing close, as if guarding its master from death itself. Around them, hardened men stood, in stunned silence. For the first time, it wasn't justice or punishment at stake. It was a race against time. Doctors rushed in, confirming the medic's fears. The man's heart was dangerously unstable. If he had faced the execution chamber, he would have died before reaching it. The revelation shook the prison to its core. The warden, moved by the dog's desperate loyalty, halted the sentence indefinitely. "No one dies today," he declared. Word spread quickly. It wasn't lawyers or appeals that spared him, it was his dog. The animal's love had seen what no human eye could. For the man, chained yet alive, one truth remained clear: his final wish had already saved his life in the most unexpected way. In the end, it wasn't judges, laws, or prisons that changed everything. It was the devotion of a dog. Loyalty stronger than chains, love deeper than fear. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. More powerful stories await you right here.